Hello, everyone, and welcome to I guess we're live. I don't know if I'm getting a little thing.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live. Okay. Welcome to a special Sunday edition of the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, and I'm joined tonight on the other end of the tin cannon string by CJ Team All Zero.
Yo.
And Easy.
Yo.
And it's a special.
It can be original.
Can be original. It's well, this isn't really an original day because we're this is just the essentially
Ray in the chat.
Yeah, Ray in the chat. What's up, Ray? So we couldn't talk about AEW on the Thursday stream, so we're having a special Sunday stream just to talk about AEW. If you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I met CJ locally. I met Easy at All In and Starcast. We love wrestling. We love talking wrestling. We love sharing our love of pro wrestling with each and every one of you out there. However, just like each and every one of you out there, we are, we're just like any other fan. Our opinions are that of any other fan. We avoid insider terms because we're not insiders, we're not experts, we're not wrestlers. We are just marks. And let's just get right into it. First match.
This tournament, just like any other tournament, is.
And there's the thing going off on side of Bihar Live. So there you go. First match was Orange Cassidy and Powerhouse Hobbs. Hopefully we don't get flagged for that. We watched GCW last night? No, we did not. There were a lot of stuff kind of competing with AEW last night. We watched Dynamite. We watched Dynamite last night, all of us. I'm not the world's biggest GCW fan, but I did hear some good things. So, we'll see. I know there's some big stuff coming out of Impact. So, yeah, it just kind of is what it is. But, yeah. So anyway, Orange Cassidy and Powerhouse Hobbs, this wasn't a bad match, but I don't know, I guess I just expected something a little bit better. What say you guys?
I only saw the last half hour, so you're asking the wrong question.
I don't think you're missing a whole lot. I watched it. It wasn't horrible,
okay,
but it wasn't great.
This is just stupid now how it wants to just play immediately. I hate that. Go on. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's what I like.
No, there's nothing really to talk about here. I mean, we all kind of knew OC was going to win, but I don't know. I just kind of expected a little bit more. I mean, I wasn't expecting life-changing 5-star classic, but I was expecting more. And yeah, so there's that. Now, something that did deliver that I did really like is the next match: Britt Baker versus Anna. So
this is when I finally tuned in.
Yeah, this was a damn good match. Britt Baker showing why she's got that division on her fucking back right now.
I was almost thinking Anna was going to win this match. It's like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did think she was going to win and maybe set up a shot at Full Gear, but they're going with Ty. At Full Gear, I think that's a good call. Because Ty's really came into her own, especially since Anna's been hurt. So, yeah.
Well, and Ty has been the number one, the number two for a long time now. She's held those two top spots multiple times in Britt Baker's reign, and it's never really been talked about. So I like that all of a sudden when she came out, they talked about she is the number one contender.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. So, definitely a great match.
Do you see Ty probably dethroning Baker or not yet?
I hope not.
Yet.
I mean, if they do, I feel like they really fucked up.
It's not. She's still real young. She's really, really good, and the sky is the limit on her potential and where she's going to go eventually. But it's not her time.
And now we come to the main event, and probably what's going to get me a lot of heat. Pac versus Andrade El Idolo 2. Now this was a good match. I really enjoyed this match, but
Actually, that was pretty entertaining.
I don't really think it was any better than the first one, because I know a lot of people are saying this was so much better than the first one. I don't really feel like this was any better, and the ending just kind of really confused the fuck out of me. Like, so the lights went out immediately. So did Pac win or did he not win? Because they didn't make that clear. And once the lights went out, they're like, "Oh, this match don't mean shit anymore." So
I feel like that was just mind games to get Andrade to say, "Well, you really actually didn't beat me because the lights went out, so you don't have proof that you won." So I feel like that's what they're kind of going for.
Well, they
Okay.
said on Wednesday night that Pac won.
Pac versus Andrade 3.
okay. Well, I mean, they said they won, but it was just way too.
I didn't see
was
him
like,
win
"Wait, what
either,
just
but
happened?"
Yeah.
it was
And then when you
completely
have-
lost.
Yeah, not
I
really.
just really you want to bring Malachi Black into this just because people are cheering him. We need him to be the bad guy against Cody. It's like, okay.
Yeah, just I kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't. I
Don't
thought
combine two rivalries in here, please don't.
I thought the kind of other than the gun with Arn Anderson and other than and Cody coming out like kind of that was cool, but I felt like especially there at the end they tried to do way fucking too much with this, and to me that took away from the match. That took away from I'm supposed to say this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, and this is why Andrade's better in AEW than he was in WWE, and I know all my talking heads and all my points I'm supposed to hit being in the YouTube community. But to me, the ending, all of that clusterfuck with Malachi, with Cody, other than getting to see Arn Anderson do this, which is going to be maybe a cool new thing Arn Anderson does. Other than that, I'm not just too much of the fustercluck in my opinion, and I prefer the first match. I prefer the first one because of that. So I don't know. Anything else? Anybody else wants to add anything? I'd love to hear it. But yeah, this is just.
Again, like I said, I think they were indeed trying to do way too much at the ending, because especially where you're supposed to squeeze in the last 2 minutes. It's like, just let them fight, and if they wanted to go for a controversial finish to having Andrade still have bragging rights on I beat Pac, there's no proof that he beat me. It's like, no, honestly, it's overdone a little bit.
Yeah.
It would have been much simpler where it's like Andrade had to win, Pac had to win. So all right, so let's have our third match to finally decide it all.
Yeah.
And honestly, that could be a great match to build up for Full Gear.
They don't have enough room for anything at Full Gear. It seems like Full Gear is, no pun intended, kind of full.
It's full.
It's full.
I actually don't even know how big is the card. I haven't seen it in a while.
I mean, you got.
Let's see.
Well, if you go according to the quote unquote leaked notebook paper, I don't think that was on it.
Yeah.
Right now there's only 4 confirmed matches.
Okay, so yeah, you could possibly do something there. I could see
Squeeze
them
in there.
now. Unfortunately, I see them maybe going in a tag direction with
Yeah.
Malachi and
We have-
Andrade versus Cody and Friend.
Please
know.
no. Yeah, we got the championship eliminator. We got Omega, Hangman, Baker, Ty Conti, and Inner Circle against Men of the Year, and 3 opponents to be handpicked.
Yeah. All right, so that is Rampage. Now it's time to light the fuse and bring the boom. Dynamite. First match was match of the week, in my opinion. Danielson versus Dustin Rhodes.
Oh my god, that match was insane.
That was a great match. I kind of really liked the bad guy tendencies that Dustin was showing. I mean, he was giving Brian the finger and a whole lot of stuff like that. So I was really kind of digging that. But it's kind of it's in that realm of it's a damn good match. Just go go and watch it. You know, like you can't really. There's nothing that we can add to it other than, well, you know, that. You know.
Yeah.
Um. You know, it did. Oh, just fucking great match. Just you're really a lot of credit needs to go to Dustin for how well he's performed since AEW's began. Like, who would have thought that one of the most consistently best performers they'd have at AEW would be Dustin Rhodes? You know, especially when
He's still got it. Like, it's amazing.
yeah. I mean, now that he's kind of in better shape, and yeah, it's great. So the next match was Penelope Ford versus Ruby Soho. Something was off in this match. It was part of the TBS, title tournament. The right person won, which is great. But like their timing was off, and it was off big time. Like there was a few bad moves bad miscues that took me the hell out of this match.
I just thought the bunny coming in just kind of ruined it a little bit. It's like, can I just have like one match that I don't see the villains popping up unless I know why they're coming to interfere? It's like, oh, villain alliance. Okay, that's original.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that probably actually helped so that they could catch their breath, because
I don't know. I liked
that
it the way it was.
It was clunky. There was a one spot where I didn't think that Ruby was going to be able to get Penelope on her shoulders. Like there was a heave and a heave, and she almost dropped her, and then another heave, and then it finally happened, and it was somebody wasn't working with somebody.
No, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't go that far.
It just wasn't working well.
Sometimes chemistry's off, and sometimes it doesn't matter. Even if you're two of the best wrestlers in the world, sometimes timing just isn't there. Like for example, at All Out in 2019 when we got Kenny versus Pac, when Moxley got hurt, and like I went into that show, going there live, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, it's gonna be great, it's a dream match, and it's gonna be the greatest thing ever, and like just it was timing miscue, botch move, botch move, bad landing, slip. Like it wasn't like terrible, like they recovered and could make something acceptable and good out of it, but it's just whew, when you were expecting you got Kenny and Pac together, you were thinking like, woo, but that just goes to show that anybody can have an off night, and unfortunately for Ruby Soho and Penelope Ford, it was last night.
Yeah.
So next up we have Bobby Fish versus Anthony Green. This is kind of a filler match for Bobby Fish, kind of the good way to spotlight Anthony Green. A win for Bobby Fish, especially because Bobby Fish needs a little something going into what they set up after the match with CM Punk. So Bobby Fish,
I like it.
Yeah,
This
Bobby
is
Fish and CM
interesting.
Punk. Yeah, I'm interested to see. This is something, two people that never really, their paths never crossed because Punk was not on the Indies when Fish was really making his name, and likewise Punk wasn't in wrestling when Fish was in WWE. So this is kind of up there with like good match I wouldn't mind seeing. That to my knowledge hasn't been done yet.
But it's like like when we were thinking of like dream opponents, Bobby Fish isn't really somebody that I had in mind. But it's like now that's out there, it's like okay, I'm interested.
I mean,
it's like to quote Django Unchained, you have my curiosity, but now you got my interest.
Yeah, I want to see it, but I mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily call this a dream match. It's just a match I'd like to see, and that's not me slighting. I'm not
it's not
slighting.
like dream. I'm it's definitely not dream match
Right,
material,
right.
but it's like this is definitely something we were looking that. If it's pointed out there, we wouldn't mind looking at it.
Yeah. The thing, I say this with all due respect to Bobby Fish, it's kind of like just he's a good wrestler and I like him. But like to me, I don't know. I'm just not. I don't get excited for Bobby Fish, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful, because he is a good wrestler. I'm just not. He was never somebody that really like, oh my god, Bobby Fish, you know, like always solid. I'm not gonna say I've seen a lot of bad Bobby Fish matches, but you say Undisputed Era, he's not the first person that like I was excited to see. Like when he was my second favorite member, Red Dragon. Not that sounds mean, but like I like Kyle O'Reilly more. Like when the first time I saw Bobby Fish was on the very first Evolve shows when Evolve first became a company. I liked him because I like kind of that hard hitting style, that strong style, especially back in 2010 when I'm you know experiencing that, like that was what I was all about, and I liked him, but like still, like you said, name your favorite wrestlers on the independents at that time. I'm saying Davey Richards, I'm saying Chris Hero, I'm saying Claudio Castagnoli, I'm saying Kyle O'Reilly, Chuck Taylor, Johnny Gargano. Those are the names that are coming up, and it's like that was how I felt about Bobby Fish 10, 11 years ago on the indies. And now it's like a lot of those same names, only like they're on the top level now. And unfortunately, it's just like, again, not saying he's a bad wrestler, not saying I dislike him, but it's kind of like his spot for me personally in the pecking order's down there. So the fact that they're putting him with Punk, I want to see the match, but I mean, everybody on here knows how I feel about Punk. Like, he's not the guy that I'm the most excited about to see. I will say I like how they're not putting him with a lot of top guys. They're putting him with mid-card guys, which is cool. So I want to see the match, but I'm not like fiending for this match like all the Bryan matches, like I was for Bryan versus Suzuki, or even Bryan and Dustin. I'm not like, give me this match. I don't know. If anybody else feels differently, I totally get it. But what do you guys think?
Like I said, I'm just ready for sounds great on paper. Let's see how they execute it.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a really good match. It's not something that I would have like, when CM Punk or even Bobby Fish got signed to like, ooh, here is my top 10 list of matches that I would love to see. Like I didn't even think about this pairing, but they seem to have kind of turned him heel a little bit. So
I also see it as
that was good. I feel like
main
that's a
event
good
as
thing.
well.
Yeah, we're kind of.
This is a Rampage main event match.
Yeah, Rampage main event or Rampage opener. Because if you notice with if you notice with the Rampage, they've kind of come out swinging. They've always came out with a big match to start Rampage.
I think this one's going to be on Dynamite. Because when they were talking about previews, I remember hearing them saying something about CM Punk's Dynamite in-ring debut. Because if you've also noticed, since, it was at the end of August when he debuted entirely for the company, they've always put him on Rampage. Which is also an interesting.
That is interesting.
He's wrestled on the pay-per-view, but never wrestled on Dynamite.
For Rampage as well.
I mean, there'll be
it probably...
Not a big one, of course, but just a little boost.
Yeah,
I don't think they're worried about boosting Rampage at all. It's doing great numbers for the time slot it's in on a Friday night.
Yeah, for that time slot. I know. I haven't seen. I know the ratings won't come out for Dynamite until tomorrow, but it's not going to surprise me.
Don't they normally release it the day after? Or
Sunday, they don't on weekends.
It's a Sunday. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll get Rampage and Dynamite tomorrow.
But I also feel like, quick sidebar, I don't expect Dynamite to have a great rating this week. One, it was on a Saturday, and it was competing with from quite a few big college
It was
football
competing
games.
with. I was watching college football and Dynamite at the same time.
That's it. Like, yeah, that there
either,
was yeah, there's a
I had
couple.
either one on my phone or just like one on the TV or just went flip flop.
I know there's a couple big rivalry games. Your Alabama team played Tennessee, and from what I understand,
Tennessee.
that's a big rivalry game. And then Notre Dame played USC, so that's another big rivalry.
So,
Yeah, they won.
I
I
honestly don't get the rivalry between USC and Notre Dame. It's like, how the hell is that even a rivalry? But whatever.
How the hell is it a rivalry? Because they were the two big schools since they were on opposite sides, and they were the first kind of schools that would go across the country to play one another.
All right. And how many national titles combined have they won since the 80s? Sorry, just I'll keep quiet.
Let's say, well, we haven't cornered the market, and I have a whole sidebar on how Notre Dame needs to factory reset their program.
This can be an hour-long argument.
It'll be an hour-long argument, but I basically say like they need to change how they recruit.
I'm just keeping my opinions quiet. Basically, your opinion about CM Punk is the same as my opinion about Notre Dame football.
Oh yeah, they haven't done it. I'm a realistic Notre Dame football fan. They haven't done shit in a long time. But on the flip side, there's also a lot of they just suck. Well, they just won. Well, they suck. No, they just won. What team do you like? That's not important. What the important thing is that Notre Dame isn't good. Well, who's your team? The Fighting Illini.
Yeah.
Who's your team? Fucking Tennessee. You know. Notre Dame is the Cody Rhodes of college football. If you hate them, you're cool.
Also, there's I saw the stats because it's just hilarious to read here. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. So it has been, like I say, Twitter today, but it has been 5,483 days since Tennessee last beat Alabama in football. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
They haven't beaten them since 2006.
Tennessee's. You want to talk about a team that fell off? It's Tennessee, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Oh, and also Vanderbilt. Like,
yeah, Vanderbilt was never good. Vanderbilt was never.
The longest time Vandy was good.
No, they were never. They were the. I found this out because a person I know went to Vanderbilt. Their fight song goes, "We're smarter than the rest of the SEC," and I'm like, "Well, you gotta be smarter because you can't play football."
You are the Harvard of SEC. You're smart, but you suck at sports.
Yeah. And they gave the Broncos Jay Cutler, and he was terrible. Speaking of terrible, at least one part of the match, Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston. This was a good match until something terrible happened in it.
They don't even have the highlight for it on their YouTube channel, which is it went that badly.
Yeah.
Well, they showed it 3 times. They played it once and then they replayed it 2 times during like the little rest period that they had in the match.
Yeah,
and like they showed it from different angles. It was really weird.
Yeah. Because even like I first saw that, I was like, oh no. Because I almost thought, oh shit, did he just break his neck? Then Kingston like doing the safe roll up when it's like, yeah, I was not surprised at all he did that. But at least Archer did go to Twitter and say, I'm fine. Like, thanks for everyone for checking up on me.
So yeah, he did say, his tweet was
I'll live,
praise the Lord.
Yeah.
And he promptly got a bunch of people saying things like, maybe you should thank the doctor instead of your imaginary friend. Which, I mean, I'm not saying you... that kind of pissed me off. Was the first thing I saw. Sidebar, when somebody's recovering from an injury, don't use that as a time to say that you disagree with their religious beliefs. That's my only sidebar for the day on anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only sidebar. That's my only sidebar on this channel. Period. For anything like that, even if you're not a believer, like don't not when someone's giving an injury update.
Mm-hmm. I think he probably got like a concussion or maybe a bruised neck, but I don't know.
It looks, at least, luckily, he did land partially on his arms.
Yeah.
And for as large as that man is, that's not going to be a huge relief, but maybe that helped his neck and his back a little bit. Maybe he's just going to be a little concussed. I'm hoping that it was a work. I really am, based
Yeah.
on everything. But I,
But I don't think
uh,
again. Sidebar
At least he
aside,
also got a good.
I don't know if Lance Archer, the bad guy, which granted he does have tattoos on his body about this. I don't think he would invoke his religious beliefs if he were working, but who knows? That's all I'm saying. That's just my only.
I don't know.
This also might sound like maybe like either too soon or too low, but it's like I know his theme song is called "Everybody Dies," but I don't think he was trying to do that literally.
Well, he did grab the fan.
Yes.
And that's true. I was like, what the hell? Dude? Like, it's Lance Archer. What do you expect? He could grab a little kid and use him as a shield.
And he
Please
did.
don't ever do
And
that.
still not
but
be
he
very
would do
effective.
that. I mean, Kenny Omega did fight an 8-year-old before.
Killed the goddamn business, motherfucker. So in between all of this, we had an MJF promo. Well, we had a Sting promo interrupted by MJF because apparently we haven't gotten tired of this fucking trope.
Not at all. Not at all.
Seriously, though, I think this was probably the best MJF promo since Cincinnati. Like, this was amazing. Like, just
Why?
really, really tugging on the heartstrings. And especially, okay, this is probably, you guys would know this better than I would, but explain to me the whole Lex Luger thing.
Oh, Lex Luger abused steroids his whole life and now can't walk. He's in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's
Amongst
literally...
other drugs, too.
Amongst other drugs, but the big one, steroids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Lex will be the first person to tell you, I abuse steroids. At least now. Now, back then, absolutely not. But now, you know...
But back then, you really didn't need him to tell you.
Yeah. You just kind of saw it. And yeah, it
You just
wasn't...
had to have eyes.
Like, okay. I personally like Lex Luger. I feel like he does seem like he's in a better spot now. And I wish I
He's
would have...
still around, right?
Yeah, he's not dead.
Okay.
He just can't wrestle.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not dead, he's resting. Okay.
I mean, he hell, about a year ago, he actually was doing a Sign It Live on High Spots, and I like won 2 vintage Lex Luger figures he signed for me in person, and you know, so I never met Lex Luger, but I got a shout out to my shoot name for winning the for winning the shoot name that's been spoiled on this channel 1,000 times. Live on the Sign It whenever I won them both. So I mean, Lex Luger now is A-okay in my book, and like Lex Luger in a bubble, like I don't hate him, but Lex Luger did a lot of shitty things and treated a lot of people shitty, and like, you know, there's a lot of people that don't like Lex Luger. So again, kind of like the point I've been ranting on for the last few weeks. First of all, I think MJF did great. Like, this was like for me, I'm like, fuck you. I was booing, but
I think this was a record number of shut the fuck up chants I've heard.
Yeah, so the live crowd booed, but like what pissed me off, like I maybe this isn't even a bad guy thing. This like I said, you know, last time I did the show from here, maybe it's not necessarily a bad guy thing. It's just my Seymour Skinner, you know, no, it's the children who are wrong sort of thing. Even though I don't believe I'm completely out of touch. When the first thing I'm seeing on my timeline about that promo is not like, other than EZ, is not fuck you MJF, like how dare you go there. It's, yeah, well, Lex Luger's a piece of shit, so fucking MJF's in the right. It's like, what the fuck? So it's like that take, but like to me, it's maybe more so me just like being out. That's like, you're not supposed to fucking be like, I'm on MJF's side because this is my buddy. Like, you're supposed to like be like, fuck you, motherfucker. And thank God the live crowd was on board with that. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's Florida. Of course they're gonna boo the bad guy.
Until later on, but more on that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and also, just to open up here, well, not really open up, but reveal, I did. I finally saw the MJF documentary by Kenny Johnson, and that's probably the funniest thing I've ever watched in my life.
Yes, that's why I didn't believe that was his parents booing him, because his parents are in prison.
Anyways, but if you need a good laugh or just like kind of just look into the inside of MJF, give it a watch. It is just entertaining.
It's well done, and it's part of the reason why I don't want people to be rooting for MJF. Like, we can kind of silently to ourselves when he wins out, go like, dude fucking deserves it, yes, but like, we better be having our middle fingers out and saying fuck you MJF.
It could be interesting if he kind of plays the whole like in the ring I look like I'm a rich big guy persona, but like just on the side you almost look like he's a fraud artist or he's a con artist or something like that. But I guess that was just for the documentary, so I guess for AEW, he's doing pretty well, I guess I should say.
Well, I mean, now, like, I don't know, like, he's the big time persona, but he's a con artist, but I think, like, if you were going to explore that aspect of his character, you probably would have had to have done it last year. You know what I mean? Because now he's been, like, such a name in AEW, like, okay, now he is a big shot. Like, he's legit a big shot now. Now, when he was in the independents, that kind of worked a little bit, but yeah, I don't know how well that would have worked in AEW because you want him to be the big shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I this promo was what it needed to be, and you wanna get some.
And also, so later on, once this time we actually see some tension between MJF and his personal accountability buddy.
Accountability buddy. Hashtag
Accountability
buddy.
buddies.
This I'm like, oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but you know what? I'm gonna get Sean Spears in charge. He's gonna take care of it. He's an accountability buddy. And honestly, I laughed way too hard. Sean Spears just looks at me and goes,
my only live tweet was hashtag accountability buddy.
And then I think someone like tweeted a picture of like the one South Park episode where Butters goes to a conversion camp and he has an accountability buddy. It's like, oh my god. So that's actually one of my favorite episodes too, because fuck conversion camps.
Yeah, I love all of South Park, but anyway, yeah.
I'm still waiting for a new season. What the hell's taking them so long?
Sometimes being an equal opportunity offender giveth and taketh away from the network. We'll just say that much. Sometimes the network they're on may not like when they take shots at a few other things rather than just Donald Trump. And I'm not a Trump guy, but you get what I'm saying. That's my theory.
I just want season 24. Like, what? Just come on.
I want that show to last forever.
It's...
Yeah.
But
moving on. Jungle Boy versus Brandon Cutler.
Okay, just one more thing about South Park. They've been renewed through season 30. We're going to be at season 24 soon. So just think about like all the material they got.
Yeah. Sorry guys. So Jungle Boy versus Brandon Cutler. This was just it was a way to kind of have somebody in the elite get the shit beat out of them, get something for Jungle Boy, and it is just kind of what it is. I like Jungle Boy a lot in the ring. But
I'm
you know,
surprised
we
Nakazawa
actually
didn't want to get involved.
um we were having this conversation earlier today, and about who MJF kind of put a name on like the four pillars of AEW with himself, Darby, Sammy, and Jungle Boy. And we're kind of going with like, well, who's the weakest pillar? Who's going to be the strongest pillar? Who's going to be the weakest pillar? Who's going to be the one destined for the most? And who's going to be kind of like, yeah, there was just that guy. You know, and because they had the four pillars of heaven in all Japan were Kabashi, Kawada, Misawa, and Taue. And Taue won the world title, but he's kind of the one that's always left by the wayside, and compared to Kawada, Kabashi, and Misawa. So it was kind of brought up who's going to be the Taue of this group, and that's not necessarily me saying that they're going to be unsuccessful or bad, but who's going to be the Taue? And unfortunately, you know, Jungle Boy's going to have a. He's not terrible. He's not bad. He's not terrible because that discredits how good he is. He's great, but I feel like he is, and CJ kind of feels the same way, and I'll let her uh, bring up what we were talking about earlier. But he feels like he is the weakest out of the four, in comparison to the other three. What do you guys say?
I don't really know if Jungle Boy is like the weakest. Like, I don't know.
I don't mean like
isn't he like the guy that he was the first one to get like 50 single wins? So it's like, okay, like
when I say
competitively, he's still
weakest,
pretty good.
when I say weakest,
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
necessarily mean that he's bad. It's just in comparison to the other thing. Here's
These are still the top four guys. No matter what, these are the four guys that are super young, that are super talented, that are going to take your company to the next level when they get there.
Yeah.
They're all sitting right. Well, MJF, in my opinion, is past the line because he is excellent in the ring. You can give him the mic and he will bring the house down every single time. He can deliver in all the ways. He is the most well-rounded professional wrestler, and the only thing that we have to see from him, and we do not have to see this anytime soon, is his transition to be a babyface, a good guy. I'm sorry. Like that's the only thing that we don't see from MJF.
And I really
we
don't ever want to see it personally.
No, please.
I'm fine for years and years and years him going like this, but eventually, just like from the other side of the coin, just like how John Cena felt stale after years and years and years of good guy John Cena, he needed a turn. And it does not have to happen. Sammy has this, and this is kind of what my argument was. Sammy has had this benefit of us being able to see him be a good heel. And we've seen the turn, and he's a really good guy too. He can do both. And in the past 3 years, watching Sammy come up into his own has been really, really great to see as a Sammy fan. And if you said like, hey, these are the four guys that we're going to build this company around for the future, I think a lot of people would have said like, Sammy's your weak link. And I don't think that that's the case now. I think that in this bubble that these four guys are great, and there's no misjustification for saying that these are still the four guys you're going to build your company around. These are the guys that are going to carry your company. There's no argument for me that that's the truth. But if you're looking at those four guys in a bubble, I think that Jungle Boy is number 4. If you're ranking them in order, Jungle Boy is number 4 now.
I think they put a label on it now, but I think like if you were to give me those top 4 guys, even last year I still would have probably put Sammy above Jungle Boy, just because if you're getting the seal of approval from Chris Jericho, like on the first night TV, like people already know, like, okay, you got to be heading for something big.
Yeah.
But like that's not like saying that the good analogy we talked about a little bit about college football. Jungle Boy is the Notre Dame of the group. That's not necessarily saying that he's bad, but like, if MJF's Alabama and Darby Allin is Ohio State and Sammy Guevara is like
Georgia.
I was gonna say I'm going by like the last year's playoff teams like Clemson. Like Jungle Boy would be Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Jungle Boy would be like, okay, yeah, you're number 4.
Like in terms of the growth.
I don't think Clemson was a good comparison considering they lost to Pittsburgh yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm talking about last year with Trevor. Yeah. Talking about Trevor Lawrence.
Last year.
Clemson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you look in the past 3 years, the growth especially has pushed Sammy really, really into his own. He got the push from Chris Jericho and everybody. We still want to see the Inner Circle, and it's all great as a group, but Sammy does not need a group, and that's
I'm
good
actually
for
liking
him.
Sammy and Fuego more than the Inner Circle right now. Call that a hot take, but
Sammy can go off on his own. He can be with his friends. Sammy is a big enough star now. He can elevate other people. And that's something to be said about Sammy. Like when this started 3 years ago, that was not the case. And now he can. And Darby is still he's getting the Sting push, whether I agree with it or not. And that's great. Darby is great. He still needs a little bit of work with his promos. And Jungle Boy is super great in the ring, but he is not super great on that microphone, and even he will admit that.
But here's my thing, working promos, yeah, sure, but also not everybody's a great promo, but they have charisma.
But I think that if you're gonna stand toe to toe with MJF for years and years, you got to be good on that microphone.
Maybe,
too.
Or you can just do vignettes, which seem to have gotten Darby more over than him getting on the stick and being on there. But he was doing vignettes, which in this day and age, I feel like a cool vignette will get and the charisma that Darby carries will get you just as over as anything else. Yeah, you might be able to be quick-witted on the mic, and that's great, and that is something that's important, but it's also one of those, it's like, okay, but if they can have charisma and they make you look cool in the vignette like they have Darby since, like, the very beginning, I feel like that can counteract a mic skill that may never get there. Look at who he's with, and look at how, I know, like, may not be your favorite person in this day and age, but like, look at how well Sting's been over his whole career. Sting ever had a good promo? Have you? Tell me, like, the last good Sting microphone promo from ever. You won't. But he had cool presence, and he had, they were able to do, especially when he went to the Crow, they did a lot of cool vignettes with him, and he had like a good aura about him that worked. And that's where I think that I think that Darby will still be above Sammy in the long run, just because Darby has a cool aura about him that Sammy does not have. So it's like
I don't disagree with that.
What Darby may lack on the mic and Sammy may have on the mic, Darby has the aura about him 100-fold.
I think that Sammy has more of a well-roundedness to him that'll make him more available to work with a lot more people than Darby will with the aura. Not that it's not going to work. Not that Darby's not going to be a huge star. He has the aura. You're absolutely right. I agree with that. But two people can't have that aura, and you can't have two of your top stars always doing vignettes. So somebody or both need to get better with the in-ring promos and working with the crowd.
Well, and I don't.
I think in TV world, that's just what it has to be.
Well, I also think that if somebody needs to if there's an urgency for somebody to get better at that, it's Jungle Boy over Darby.
100% Jungle Boy over Darby.
Because Darby doesn't need to have a The Rock promo or a on that level, or a Stone Cold Steve Austin promo, or something like that. Darby can jump out of a plane with Tony Hawk on a skateboard and go, all right, cool, and do something really like gonna kill you, MJF, and we're intrigued more than he would if he would have got on the mic and gone, and you know something, MJF, I'm gonna kill you. Compared to that, his character lends himself more to not having to use that, whereas Jungle Boy, his character, in order to be taken seriously at the next level, does not lend itself well to that.
Exactly. That's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
It's less of a. I don't ever think that Darby will fall out of like the four pillars. I think that with all the young people there, that maybe that fourth pillar could change if certain things don't get better.
Gotcha. I mean, we'll see. I think at this point, no. I feel like Jungle Boy's still kind of a made man in that sense, but again, he might forever be Tawe.
Now, do you think that Sting would have been as big as Sting was for as long as Sting was without the NWO?
Oh no, Horseman or NWO. Like, and
Either one.
That's a whole
But
other.
especially the NWO Sting thing. That carried him to a whole new level.
But like again, like that's not like a knock on Sting not being very good. That's just kind of like
No.
but that's like a whole argument of like you need somebody, a hero's only as strong as his villains. The reason that Batman and Spider-Man are two of the greatest, comic book characters ever is because they have a great rogues gallery compared to Superman, who has like Lex and Brainiac and Metallo. The reason that Spider-Man and Batman are able to have like a good comic book like that, a new movie out like that, is because of how well versed their villains are. And that speaks to Sting, who was lucky enough to have, Ric Flair in the Four Horsemen and then Hogan in the NWO, and have everything built around that through both eras of his career. And we're not going to talk about the Joker Sting. but that's also a point. Like, when it comes to these four pillars, needing people to work with, Darby's gonna have MJF. Jungle Boy's gonna have MJF. All of them have MJF, and they have like other people to go after.
And they'll like we had Darby and Sammy. What? In like the early part of this year, part of last year, before Sammy really turned, we had a Darby Sammy thing going on, and that was like Sammy has that ability to go both sides that we've seen. So that's when
the only
Darby
bad guy,
has a darkness. He could go to the dark side.
The only downside is like right now is you haven't, other than like kind of like what they're doing with the Elite, you haven't seen Jungle Boy really have like a long sort of thing going with the with a bad guy. You know what I mean? You haven't seen that with Jungle Boy, whereas Darby with his villain, taking on the villains, and other good guys, like when he beat Cody, he had like a rivalry with Cody when both were good. It just depending on what was needed for that role. The first time Darby was in the bad role, and from there it was Cody. You saw that happen. You saw Darby and Miro. You've seen Darby and Sammy when Sammy was on the bad side of things. You've seen Darby go up against Team Taz. You're seeing Darby and MJF now. You've seen Sammy as part of the Inner Circle take on, the Elite and the Pinnacle. MJF has been going up against pretty much the who's who of the good guys in his, gone up against Mox. He's gone up against Jericho. He's gone up against Cody. Jungle Boy has gotten like this little spat with the Elite, and the Elite are like the Elite are a very odd sort of group because on one hand, like they're very unlikable, and I like how they're doing the Elite right now, being very unlikable. But on the flip side, they aren't like on that level to where they're really gonna. I don't think. I don't think they can elevate Jungle Boy to the other three's level in the role they're in now.
Well,
Hmm.
hot take. I don't think I don't like this elite thing anymore. I don't think they're elevating anybody or
No, no,
anything.
no, 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 no. Say this for everybody to understand. When you say you don't like this, you don't mean they're bad guys and they're doing their job don't not liking. You mean
Yeah, I mean, it's not an effective bad guy routine. They're all being goofs. They all are acting like Brandon Cutler and the Goon Squad. And I don't think that's becoming of your world title holder, your champ, the belt collector, to be a goon. Because the top guy in your company shouldn't always be a goon.
yeah.
And that goes double for the tag team champions as well when they're all in a group and they're all acting ridiculous all
Yeah.
the time.
I mean, I kind of get how it is sort of a. It has a place, and I don't mind it because to a point, like it is sort of
I totally
AEW is trying not to like be everything by the nut. It's not trying to be like how Cornette believes. I'm invoking Cornette because he's like everything is paint by numbers wrestling. Here's this, everything's got to hit this, and the bad guy's got to be this way, and the good guy's got to be this way. And I like, while I want to see the legit heat that like Cornette like has wet dreams about, like I want to see that. I don't feel like everything has to hit the numbers Cornette wants them to hit. And I feel like the Elite are not terrible in that, but I'm going to say now the groups for everybody who's now on the bandwagon of Cody's worn out his welcome, and you know that's hence why IWC hates him and the fans hate him, and why everybody good people in the world should hate Cody Rhodes according to like the IWC, which we're going to get more into here in a bit. I'm getting that way about the Elite. Like I'm getting like okay, other than the fact that he'll have a great match and you know Dave Meltzer 8,000 stars, whatever. I'm not. I'm kind of over it. I'm over the Elite. You know,
like
like I want
I'll
to see them
say
wrestle,
this.
but I don't want to see like anything else from them.
Yeah, they did have a Kenny promo on Dynamite that was a little bit more serious about Hangman. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's what I've been needing. That's what I need for the champion to be just a little bit serious sometimes.
Yes, a good example.
He does need to lead. He needs to lend credibility to his opponents, because if he just jokes about it and makes them all look like goons, then they don't have any legitimate contenders for him in the future.
Yeah, and I don't. You know, the one thing I did like about the Elite was because there was a lot of people saying like, okay, he's acting like a goof, and I don't like him anymore. So for a while, like it was working because like I don't want to see him with Don Callis because I wanted to see the cleaner. I'm like, well, this is the cleaner. You know, the cleaner was not a good person, so I liked it in that sense. But it's things wear out, and this has gotten to the I'm getting worn out of it point of it. Now back at Revolution and in May and June when all this first started, I liked it. It was fine. I liked that it I liked how it did turn, you know, the thing everybody said they wanted from Kenny Omega on its head and made certain people feel uncomfortable. I liked it. But now it's just to me when they're always playing basketball and they're always like, oh, kiss, oh, I'm cool, baby, and everything is funny. You
The
know,
kiss really kind of drives me a little nuts. It's a nice little
Because Britt
spot.
Baker
It's a
gets
nice.
jealous.
Yes, we do not like to make DMD angry. You do not like her when she's angry.
yeah.
Anyway, well, we
Well,
kind
it's
of
just
saw
like,
what happens if you get Adam Cole angry about Baker, Tony
Yeah.
Schiavone.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a shoot, pal.
yeah. But
When you work and work yourself into a shoot.
brother. Anyway, but like the first time it happened, like it was funny, but it's like Okay, like you know how like they have like certain when they say certain moments jump the shark when or like don't do it anymore because it's not funny. It's like reach its peak, all that stuff. When when the Dark Order like got in there and they went like, huh? That should never happen again. Like that should kill that. Like that should be done.
Yeah.
You know,
Ta-da.
but now it's like it's a big joke. It's like, okay, when are they going to do a big spot and then pause to kiss or pause to pose or pause to do Adam Cole baby? And I know I can hear everybody right now who will watch this going, "See, you're angry. That's why it is good. That's why it is better than anything that you like." Send. And okay, but it's getting. We talk. You want to talk about go away? Like it's becoming to the point to now where it's like, oh, the elites in a match. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go make myself a sandwich. Anybody else want anything?
I'm gonna go watch Baron Corbin.
I wouldn't go that far, but
If they keep doing the kissy face shit, I'm gonna go watch Baron Corbin.
I'm not gonna go
Like,
watch
that's
Baron
where I'm
Corbin.
at.
But like, you know, 3 years again. You know, kind of like the theme that was that we had on Thursday night was, you know, we're talking about New Japan. And like 3 years ago, did we think New Japan would be us criticizing anything about their writing process, anything? Would that exist? And the answer was no. And but now that we are, it's like, well, anything can happen. Anything can wear out its welcome. Anything that runs off of the same thing for too long can eventually get old. And there's always gonna be people that are gonna go, it's not getting old, it works, or what do you know, it's great. There's always gonna be somebody that's for something, but eventually things will get old. New Japan got old. The Elite have gotten old. And I want to see something fresh from the Elite. Like this had a good run. This was not without significant redeeming qualities. It's over now. It's running on fumes, and it's run on fumes. The tires are wearing down. They got to pull into the pit stop and get that changed. Get it done, so that way it will be better going forward. And I think the first big step in that is Hangman's got to win that belt. And anything other than that is unacceptable. I don't care what fucking, but you're going to have to hate King. No. For me, Kenny is losing. Kenny Omega is losing what made him great by continuing with this run. And we need to see something different. Kenny, we never got to see how he rebuilt to win the IWGP title again, but we got to see him lose the Intercontinental title and the US title to build up to different things, to build up to a G1 Climax win, to build up to his eventual world title win. We need that from Kenny Omega right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, speaking of things that have worn out their welcome, we have the main event.
Good segue.
Main event, Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. I thought this was probably the best match they've had. But
for sure.
It's a two-way street for Cody Rhodes. On one hand, everything that I said about feeling stale with Kenny, like that is like part of the cred of being on this platform is, well, you gotta hate Cody Rhodes. Like he's the worst thing to AEW, and if you gotta be negative about something in AEW, it's gotta be Cody Rhodes. in the ring, outside the ring, personally, professionally, Cody Rhodes is like, have you heard of Satan? Well, that guy's not even as bad as what Cody Rhodes is. But on the flip side, his act is played out, and I'm Cody Rhodes through and through. Like I will. There are a few hills I'm willing to die on, and Cody Rhodes is one of those hills. I think he gets way too much hate. I feel he's a better wrestler than anybody gives him credit for, but because whatever sort of hipster cool internet thing, you're not allowed to like him. And I'm glad. I mean, Grant, I've met some like-minded people here on the platform. Shout out Tranquilo Club and Riven Blade. But still, you look at an AEW, you search AEW Cody Rhodes, it's a lot of fuck Cody Rhodes. And now that, at first the live audience wasn't with it, well, now the live audience is with it. I know he doesn't want to turn, but I also feel like he's got to lose that stubbornness, because when half the crowd's booing you out of the building, you can't wrestle this way. I'm hoping that this leads. I'm getting some, Austin and Brett vibes from a little bit of what's going on, because I don't think his feud with Malachi is completely over. But something's got to happen.
This is the thing that annoys me, though, because, Cody is on a technicality. He's working behind the scenes, making sure everything's going smoothly, him and Tony Khan. And suddenly, if we get this whole bad guy Cody persona, it's going to be like, oh, what AEW's got an evil authority figure, and we don't like that. They're just copying WWE. He's like, you bastards are the reason you were booing him in the first place for God knows why. Now he's a bad guy, and suddenly you're like, oh, I don't like this. It's like, that is literally what I'm going to know of the moment we have a Cody turn. Because suddenly it's going to be like, oh, he's an evil authority figure or something like that. It's like, you guys did this. This is on you. Cody wanted to go bad. It's because of you. And now that if he's gone bad, you don't like this, you did this.
Well, because unfortunately, with these fans,
I understand the Cody hate.
With some of these fans, the only logical thing is Cody has to stop wrestling. Like that is like Cody is the one.
I don't mind him wrestling. I really don't.
I don't mind either, and I'm happy now. Like there are people that don't. I'm finding more people that don't feel that way on this platform, YouTube and Twitter. But still, like there's so many people where it's like, you gotta hate Cody. You gotta hate Cody. Like, oh no, we don't want him to turn bad. We want him to go away forever. Because for some reason he doesn't hold like some of the self-made person. But on the flip side of this, I feel like if done the right way, like I just complained about Kenny Omega, but I will also give it credit. Like the ratings haven't gone down, so this was all just my opinion that it's getting stale. That was just me. It's not there. But going back to the real quick. Going back to what I've been talking about the last few weeks, I stand by what I want. I want Cody to go back on his word and win the title, because if you keep building, if you beef up everything but the main event, ratings aren't going to go down. Ratings aren't going to go down at all. You're going to have a lot of pissed off people wanting to see Cody Rhodes get his ass whipped.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. I want the Matt Cardona beating Nick Gage moment in AEW. I want to see one of them pillars. Maybe not Hangman, but I want to see Sammy Guevara or Hangman in his second run lose, or CM Punk or Bryan Danielson.
Actually, this could be a great. Here's a great way to get Cody hate. Just have Cody, CM Punk, and then Cody just beat him up every week.
No,
there's a hate right there.
You can't have that. You gotta still have the bounce to make Punk look good. But I'm saying, have either Hangman's second reign, Sammy Guevara's first reign, Bryan Danielson, or CM Punk, if they ever win the AEW title, have Cody beat them. And I want to see the trash flow at Cody with him just being the bad guy he was when he was feuding with Kenny, when he was the Ring of Honor champion, just basking in it. because you build up that undercard enough, people are going to tune in. And you're going to have that, well, I'm fucking angry, but I'm going to tune in next week.
I gotta watch this dude lose.
I got to watch this. Who are they coming out with now? The Jungle Boy? Jungle Boy's going to do it. Damn it. Oh, who's coming? Who's coming out? Who's coming out? Who's coming out? Oh, they've built up so and so. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Like he's.
So we basically want Cody to get the MJF heat.
Yes. Only difference is between the MJF heat with MJF is as horrible as he is, he'll make the good zinger that'll make the small section here on Twitter go, fuck yeah, MJF. Everything you said is cool. When Cody does it, they're going to go, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you.
But I did say this on Twitter that, like, just people still booing. And again, like, I'm standing by my words here, and you guys are standing by yours. That's why we have this show. But I said, like, has Cody Rhodes been causing a stir on Twitter with his ex-WWE stars? No. Has Cody Rhodes been pursuing championships opportunities lately? No. Has Cody Rhodes been making Dark and Rampage all about him in capitalized letters? No. So that's why I just cannot understand this. It's like he's not putting himself out there. He just has a rivalry with Malachi Black, and he's just winning those matches. And people are like, "But
he's won one match.
He lost 2.
He's 2-1, and people got butthurt saying Malachi Black was buried. Who, even though he won twice, one of them a squash."
He's only been here for a few months. Like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
And he's a big star that everybody already knew.
Yeah.
Like, even though he changed his name, either you knew him as Tommy End or you knew him as Aleister Black. You knew the guy. You know he's got talent. You know he's going to go super far in this company. And he has lost one match. He beat Cody twice. He beat the Nightmare Family.
Yeah, once
I would personally... If I want to see Malachi's next rivalry, if you guys want to say, hey, let's give Malachi a title opportunity, okay, let's see a great feud between him and Sammy Guevara. That could actually be really dope.
I honestly wanted to see him and Andrade in a feud together, not as a team.
We'll see maybe if it might work, but who knows?
I mean, hopefully that they turn that to this because they had great matches before in NXT.
You know what? After the MJF rivalry, Malachi and Darby. Why the hell not?
That was what I said, like when they brought him in.
You have the darkness of hell versus hell itself.
Yeah. So, but no, there's a lot of people saying that Malachi was buried. Like Cody should just lost all 3 matches, and I'm going to quote Twitter because I said I've been fortunate enough in the last few weeks to find some bright spots in the other Warriors, sometimes toxic world of Twitter. So trying to look at the glass. There's a guy, shout out to Autistic David at Autistic Dave. That is the Twitter handle. So he put his take on here. He said, "My take, with due respect to anyone who disagrees. Anyone, as long as it doesn't interrupt." The question was on Twitter, okay, IWC, he can't beat a Go-Go, he can't beat Black, he can't beat whoever. Who in AEW is Cody allowed to beat without you crying about it? And amongst a lot of no one, or he needs to leave, or only the lower mid-card guys, this is the best take I read. Anyone, so long as he doesn't interrupt a current story build. Parentheses, like Hangman is off the table. His job is to build talent. But he won't build anyone if he doesn't have more W's than L's.
Yep.
That nail on the coffin right there.
Yeah. But, it's okay, Miss Ace. Dean, I want to get into that game so badly, but I just never can. But
are they also... Would it help if maybe Cody aligned himself back with the Elite again? Is that what people are hoping for the Cody heat? Or
I don't know. I don't know because the other prevailing theory with Cody, the reason that I feel so, trying to actually, if you don't put yourself, in another person's shoes and try and think like them, you won't you'll just have nothing but disdain for their opinion. So putting myself in the shoes of someone who doesn't like Cody, some people feel that, while the Elite built themselves up from scratch. Kenny Omega built himself up from being a viral star and being on the independents. Cody just came from the WWE and jumped in with the Elite and said, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And their opinion is he used the Elite to get to. He would have never been. He would have been just another WWE release that would have made an independent tour. Probably ended up in Impact and Ring of Honor, and that's it. But he used the Elite. So I think if he went with the Elite, it would just be it wouldn't work because all these people bitching would just be like, there he is riding coattails again. That is Cody is the ultimate example of like why everybody always gets mad about a second or third generation wrestler. Like, Cody is the example, like, even when one is actually like good, they won't be looked at as good because there's always going to be this like, well, you're just here because of your dad. You're just here because of whoever.
I don't know, I just say the same about Randy Orton. It's like, honestly, he built a whole new name for himself without needing to say, I'm Bob Orton's son.
Well, but a difference is, like, he doesn't say, I'm Bob Orton's son. Cody, like, embraces his family heritage. So anybody that embraces their family heritage within the confines of wrestling is riding coattails. It doesn't matter if,
Okay,
the
so
American Nightmare is completely different than the American Dream. It doesn't matter if,
So then, if Cody's getting this heat, then how come we're not giving the same to Dustin?
because Dustin reinvented himself. Dustin, yes,
Gold dust.
yeah, you think of Dustin, other than this great run he's having now, you think gold dust. So that's why it's okay not to hate Dustin completely.
But if you're going to go with that argument, then you could say, why aren't we giving the hate to Roman Reigns and the Usos?
Yeah. Or The Rock.
Well, I mean, even if you
to be
like,
fair, when The Rock first started, he was doing that. They didn't like him, but Cody, other than embracing his lineage, like he does, and being a good promo, does nothing like his dad. He's got a body, unlike his father. He doesn't like shuck and jive like his father. He doesn't say that he's blue collar like his father. Like, he wears suits. He says the whole thing was that he was Hollywood. He's not the working man like his father. Other than saying, I am a Rhodes, Cody
he does
do
more of
like Dusty.
Dustin's moves than Dusty.
Yeah.
He does more of the old school gold dust. You do not
see him flip, flop, and fly like Dusty. He doesn't do, no. So, yeah, I don't. But I feel that just so like I get how so many people. There have been a lot of people like your Eric Watts and your David Flairs, and so many bad sons of wrestlers come in, and I get like how
Tessa Blanchard. Oh,
Tessa Blanchard. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Sorry,
I didn't even hear what you actually coughed. Unfortunately,
Tessa Blanchard.
To be fair, until we found out she was a completely awful person, she's
a good technical wrestler.
She was a good wrestler until we found out she was one of the biggest pieces of shit in the world. But hey,
yeah,
not saying nothing, just saying. There's been so many bad seeds out there. It has ruined maybe the idea of the second generation, third generation wrestler. But for a community that wants to tell Jim Cornette to, hey, put your bullshit aside and just don't look at the fact that you hate the Young Bucks because sometimes they do too many spot fests. Look at this match they had with FTR and realize that, hey, they can be good. Don't look at the, put aside the fact that Kenny Omega wrestled an 8-year-old girl or wrestled a blow-up doll or something. Put that aside and look at the match he's having with Christian or whoever. We want to see that out of the Cornettes, or we want to see that, the WWE fans that are like, well, this is stupid, I don't get this. Like, well, here's the explanation. Here's why, AEW is doing it. We want to preach at the WWE fans, at the old school wrestling fans, like, here's why this is good. It's different, but here's the direction they're going, and here is the reasoning behind it. And this is why AEW is this, awesome melting pot of everything about wrestling. Yet in our own community, Cody Rhodes takes a deep breath and we're like, fucking asshole.
I'm sorry, did you say that Kenny Omega wrestled a blow-up doll?
Ibushi did. But
Ibushi
did.
Okay,
I said Omega, but Ibushi did. Ibushi's the one that wrestled the blow-up doll. Yeah.
I don't want to know. Don't link me that.
I will link you that because it's worth watching.
Yeah, he's gonna send you that now. You know that.
Because you're gonna see, like, because Ibushi carried the blow-up doll to a 4-star match. But that's something where, we ask of everybody else. I feel like, again, we need to look inward and do that with Cody Rhodes. He has done, other than maybe not putting over there's 3 people that were controversial he didn't put over, and I think in all 3 accounts he was totally in the right not putting them over. It was totally the right call. I feel like if more of us in our own community look inward and don't judge Cody like that, we will be a better community. You're okay not to like him. I completely understand if you think his act's played out, because I'm a Cody Rhodes fan and I'm a little sick of it. I completely understand if the old school NWA style isn't your cup of tea, if you're used to the New Japan Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks style or the NXT style. I can agree, just say agree or disagree with you on that front. But saying things like Malachi Black was buried and Cody's a piece of shit, using the company, that's asinine, and I will die on that hill.
Boy, season 2 of Roads to the Top is going to be very interesting.
Yes, it will. Oh, I know that watching the season finale, you heard Malachi Black tell Cody, "You put me over more than anybody ever could. You did."
Thank you so much. You're
Thank
generous
you
to a fault.
You're generous to a fault. They said that.
I'm still not 100% invested in that show, but it's like
I'm not saying that it's not forever. I don't even like. I watch it because I like Cody. I don't like reality TV.
This is not geared for you guys. This is more geared to people like me, or this is geared to people who are not into wrestling. This and I'll kind of put this out there. I have a friend from work who is not a wrestling fan. She has never been a wrestling fan. She got really into the show Heels this season. She like loves it. She's getting into the Roads to the Top show. She likes she's gonna be a wrestling fan. I'm gonna make her a wrestling fan. But she's fighting me kicking and screaming. I will convert her. But all the people at work have always it's just kind of been the joke. Like, one girl will come to me and say, like, my chips are stuck in the vending machine. Can you please drop an elbow on it? I know you like that wrestling stuff. Like, and slowly but surely, I have gotten many a bag of chips, not by dropping elbows, but I do a little move, and I do wrestle a vending machine on a very frequent basis, because this vending machine is older than all 3 of us put together. But they see shows like this, like Roads to the Top, like Total Bellas, Total Divas, stuff like that, and it hooks them in a different way. And some of them are never going to like wrestling, but some of them, like my friend, they get a little bit of it, and they are starting to realize more that they like it. And that's what this show is supposed to be. That's what it's doing. That's, I think, why they used Cody and Brandy, because even though most of the wrestling world also loves to hate Brandy as much or more than Cody, she is a very, I'm a big Brandy fan as a person, as an act, whatever you want to. I love her cooking show. I love her as a person. So I enjoyed Rose to the Top, but it's going to bring in new fans. They're looking
Especially
at the women in the demo ratings because WWE does a better job of bringing in women. And I think that's because they have the history with Total Bellas and Total Divas and stuff like that. That's what that Rose to the Top show is supposed to be doing, is bringing in fans that have never really been fans. You're not going to get everybody. Not every woman or every person is going to watch that show and be like, oh my gosh, I'm a wrestling fan now. But sometimes you get the ones that are like, no, I don't like wrestling. It's fake. Did you know it's fake? I didn't know it was fake. I didn't know until they told me. They're just going to think it's ridiculous. And then they're going to see little
imagine
pieces.
every WWE AEW show walk is like, welcome to Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown. This is fake, by the way. Welcome to AEW Dynamite. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Oh, by the way, the show's fake.
This is all fake.
Let's see that again. In just any other form of entertainment. They run the Breaking Bad logo. By the way, this is not actual meth. They have the Marvel logo appear before an MCU movie. By the way, Spider-Man's not real.
What I've always said to them is like, do you ask the magician to show you all of his tricks after the show?
Of course not.
Well, then why are you asking me why it's fake?
I'm going to use that argument next time. Actually.
You're welcome.
But
I'm a 30-year veteran of the wrestling.
Time that I just completely disliked Brandy Rhodes was that stupid, nightmare family thing she was pulling off. It's like nobody got behind it.
But
that was me going, oh, honey, no.
Circling back to the original point, and this is I mentioned on another stream a few weeks ago when CJ and I went to All Out, there was a guy in line, and he has a right to his opinion. I'm not bashing his opinion, but he kind of did the similar fuck Cody deal. Cody's just trying to use the company. He doesn't actually want to be in AEW. That's why he wanted to be a star. He wanted to get reality TV. He wanted to get on the go big.
AEW.
That was the opinion. That is a very common opinion on Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, etc. You're here on YouTube, and we kind of said that's building your brand. No, it's not. There's an AEW representative on another show that TNT themselves is trying to put on. And some AEW representative who is a big deal had to go there and do it. You can't just put Peter Avalon on that to be the representative because nobody cares about him. I'm not knocking Peter Avalon.
He's not a big deal. Yeah. He's not a big star. He hasn't achieved a whole lot.
Yeah, you can't just put I'm breaking my own rule, Mr. Jobber on the Go Big show as AEW's representative and hope that person captures a lapsed fan that might, be flipping through the channels and go, oh, who's that? Cody Rhodes. I remember a Dusty Rhodes. AEW Wrestling. Huh. AEW Wrestling on Wednesday night. Oh, and there's a Rhodes. And, that's how you endear yourself to the network and how you can catch a casual viewer. Having a reality show. I hate reality TV. I hate that kind of thing. It's not for me. I don't like it. I don't know how much of that is a work. But much like CJ was saying, there's people that like reality TV. There's people that don't like wrestling that want to see the drama of reality TV. And they're going to see the backstage of AEW and go, oh, there's that Malachi Black guy I saw how they were going in, how Cody was making him a big star. Oh, now look, he must be a big star because he's got the belt, or he's got a belt, or is that CM Punk? I remember him. Oh, he's wrestling that Malachi Black fella or he's wrestling that Ricky Starks fella that was also with Cody on the reality show.
Yay!
So there you go. But, again, yeah, I don't know. And that in the categories.
And yeah, Raw was totally for it.
Yeah. But yeah, is there anything else anybody wants to add?
I got something to add, but it's not AEW related. It's actually what happened on SmackDown.
Oh.
What's that?
Yeah. apparently, actually, it was watchable. And watching Roman Reigns get beat up by Brock Lesnar, who would later beat up Adam Pearce for getting suspended, because yeah, you're great. The greatest idea in all of wrestling is suspending Brock Lesnar while he's still in the ring. Yeah, okay, you know how good that's gonna go. But this is actually something that happened between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair exchanging their world championships because of
Like
the draft.
candy! Like candy again! Like belts are
Yeah.
fucking candy. Okay, I'm gonna point out real sidebar on this. To any
Yeah.
WWE fan that wants to tell me that belts mean anything in WWE and that AEW belts don't mean jack shit and this, that, and the other, your high ground is gone. Like if the best you can do is cite the fact that Bruno Sammartino and Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock all held your belt. If that's the only thing you can do to say that the AEW belts mean less than the WWE belts at this point, you you got nothing. You've got
No.
fucking nothing now.
And it's funny when we were talking about the reality TVs capture those that don't watch wrestling, and the wrestling of course captures the wrestling. But in this case, improv can be interesting and especially enjoyable if you like Who's Line. But in this case, it not only did it not really go, it went pretty far, but it was really unprofessional. So there was supposed to be a handoff between Becky and Charlotte, and of course, Becky trying to be the bad bitch and all that. But she kind of took it a little step further by looking like she just did not give two shits about any of the belts. She was trying to be Becky Two Belts again, but it's like just hand off. Like it was basically a segment that went on too long, and it went so bad that you can even see Michael Cole in the background literally giving a face palm, because it's like, what the hell is happening here? And then later was reported that there was a bit of some disagreement of words, best way to put it, after that segment aired. And I really actually couldn't blame them, because literally Becky just like threw her belts, and after like getting Charlotte's, it was just a whole mess. And if you wonder, yeah, WWE may be really strong at times with the women's division, but this segment was so cringe. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but after I was like watching it, I was like, what the hell is happening?
I did
So,
not watch it.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I get, we love and we like the Becky being, the bad bitch on here, but it's like this particular segment was a little bit too far, and it's just a simple title exchange that she just took it to herself to, like, hey, let's go unplanned here and just have some, Becky just being Becky, like not giving two shits. It's like that was just not good. Not good at all. So if you haven't seen the segment, watch it at your own warning. So I don't know what's gonna happen next, but yeah, and I do agree with Geek that if you're gonna do like these title exchanges, but just because you're on different brands, they really just don't mean shit anymore.
You have Survivor Series coming up in a month.
Do a two belt situation and then just do a hey, you got to double dip until you lose a belt.
Or you don't care that much about your women's roster again, so just merge the stupid title.
Or here's another one. Here's mine. If you don't want to have that situation, here's the thing, and this goes back
Don't trade them.
well, here, I unpopular opinion. I like the idea of the brand split. I do.
Same here.
Because you have so many people on a roster, it's like this is the only way to get everybody time, or else so I like the idea of a brand split. Don't name something based off of a TV show. Don't have the Raw Women's Champion, the SmackDown Women's Champion, the Raw Tag Titles, the SmackDown Tag Titles. Give them like kind of what they did in the early days of it, where they were different belts with different names, but they were kind of all encompassing to where if they switch brands, okay, cool. You
Are you
had
saying we should bring back the Divas Championship?
No,
Negative.
no, I'm not
Please,
saying.
let's keep it that way. That's the ugliest belt I've ever seen in my entire
No,
life.
I'm not saying that, but like, why don't you like call one like okay, have the WWE Women's Championship and the Universal Women's Championship. It's stupid, but do it. Just do it that way. That way, whenever Charlotte goes to Raw and Becky goes to SmackDown or what the fuck ever, and they have a belt, they don't have to do a fucking exchange like they're two fucking trading cards.
Like they're Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you Pikachu for Charizard here. Not gonna be doing that shit.
Ooh, good deal.
That's a hell of a deal. Whoever's losing Charizard's getting fucked.
I don't care at all about Pokemon, but even I know that value. Plus, Charizard is badass on Smash Bros.
Oh yeah, exactly. But anyway, going back to it's like so that way when it happens, it's like okay, that was a belt that was on this show and it's on the other one. Like for instance, when they did the John Cena Batista switch, they didn't have to switch belts. One wasn't called the Raw World Championship and the SmackDown World Championship. We might say that amongst ourselves, but that's not what it was called. We just okay, different belts. They changed brands, but they had all-encompassing names to where you could do it and you didn't have to do that. But now, okay, they just trade belts like candy, and now you're going to have a boatload of people. The next time AEW does something that's maybe not a home run, the next swing and a miss from AEW, oh, that's why WWE's so much better. Or the next time WWE has one fucking good show, because fucking anytime they have a good show, they're the great, like, AEW needs to just close up fucking shop. They're going to go with that, but, like, any argument outside of how much money you make doesn't work in WWE anymore.
Here's another great idea. How about you keep the champions away from the draft? Like they're the only ones that you can't draft for your brand. Anybody else that doesn't have a title, draft those guys. But anybody who's got like the Intercontinental US World Champion, yada yada yada, like keep them where they are. They are ineligible for your draft because they are the champion. They stay there. Otherwise, then what is the freaking point of the championships, really?
Yeah.
That just makes way too much sense.
Yeah.
It should, or like honestly, and this is like why I kind of miss like the late 2000s-ish where they had the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Gone with this. We have the WWE Women's Championship, then we can have the Women's World Championship.
Yep.
Like, just do it like that.
Yep.
We have a WWE and a World.
Yep.
The whole Universal Championship is like, I really don't mind it. It's just they make the belt look so ugly.
Well, I mean, but still, it's like I'd still rather something be called that, so that way you don't have to do this fucking tradesies deal. The WWE fan that don't like AEW, and I want to like WWE. So before like anybody comes after me, like I wish I liked WWE. They would always come at me, like, well, the AEW women's division isn't very good, and to be fair,
that's why we brought the TBS championship.
Well, to be fair, like they're not off base at that observation. There's still a lot of things that need iron out in the AEW women's division, but
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Here's
like,
the
I
thing.
know.
But here's the thing.
AEW has faults with the women's. But yeah, what's up?
But like the thing is, I don't think anybody's going to trade their belts like candy. The women's title in AEW is as rough as that division's been, has been treated with respect. I don't think you're ever going to see like just here you go, have my belt. Well, here, have your belt. Okay, doom de doom de doom de doom. Like that's not how you win an argument with your quote unquote moral, intelligent high ground. And yeah, so don't fucking at me. Or actually, go ahead and fucking at me, and I will fucking eviscerate you. Yeah, go ahead and just bring
at
it on.
all of us.
At all of us. With all the WWE belts mean more than the AEW belts right now. Like, okay, I mean, no. Because the only thing that you're going to have to go off of why the WWE belts mean more is the people that have held it, 15 plus years ago. And if that's all you got, then you're not winning. If that's all you got, then you haven't. Then you're not gonna win. That once upon a time the biggest stars had them. Yeah, but you don't. It's what have you done for me lately? And yeah,
This is why we kicked you guys out of Wednesday nights.
that's why they kicked themselves out of Wednesday nights for trying to counter program.
Sure.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Oh well, we do have one small thing from Impact to talk about. So last night,
Bound for Glory.
at Bound for
Forgot
Glory,
that happened, actually.
yeah, that also happened. So Josh Alexander won, hooray! And then Moose cashed in some sort of Money in the Bank deal they have, and beat Josh
It's
Alexander.
Yeah, I forget what it's called now.
Moose.
So
I like Moose.
Name your shot, I think it's
Yeah.
what they call it.
yeah, so I like Moose, but okay, like that's how you want to do this, Impact. All right then. Okay. Okay.
That's how they want to roll it.
Okay. Like, I know I kind of went on a rant about Kenny Omega, but like, and everything going on, and that doesn't take. I mean, Kenny Omega is one of my favorites. I know I'm not at Athletic Geek HQ, but like, look at the wall behind me next time I'm there, and look at all the Kenny Omega shit I have. I still like Kenny Omega. I'm just not really as passionate of a Kenny Omega fan as I was before. But if Kenny Omega, when I was still a passionate Kenny Omega fan, can't get me interested in Impact, that kind of stuff certainly will not get me interested in Impact. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I did see a tweet like earlier, like not like today, but like a few days ago, where someone brought up that Christian in 1 year has main evented WWE,
That was me.
AEW, and Impact on the same years. Like that's honestly insane.
That was me. I put that in the group chat, I believe.
Oh, that was you. Okay, sorry.
Might have been. I know I've seen that meme.
I think it was you because I think I remember
you
seeing
sent
it too.
us that, and it was like it was from somebody else's tweet.
Yeah, it's not a stream. I'm the one that shared the thing, but
yeah.
I mean, he was in the Royal Rumble, which was a main event, and then he was in the main event of All Out, and I was in the main event of Bound for Glory. So good on Christian. Like Christian's.
If he's not in the top 10 for PWI top 500, I'll be pissed.
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's beyond impressive. Like,
He's
we
just
can
gotta
say
keep
like
it up.
Kenny being a belt collector, that's great too. But it's like for someone to main event 3 different promotions in 1 year, that's insane.
And I believe I don't really keep up with Lucha Libre, but I believe Kenny Omega retained the AAA title. This past weekend, so and became the longest reigning AAA Mega Champion in history with that. So
I think he had already hit that one.
Yeah.
All right, well, I got nothing left on my wrestling end.
Left on there. Well,
it's a near 2 hours show.
Yeah, well, we're just imagine. Geez, just imagine what our year-end wrap-up show is going to be like. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in.
We'll have an intermission.
2-parter.
Yes.
Let's have a slight. Maybe I can figure out.
We'll do a pre-show on Twitter, and then we're gonna do the main event on YouTube.
I was thinking, if only I could figure out how to get the music and the "Please Stand By" thing, like Salamonster and like Stephen Larson do. If I can figure out how to do that, we can just have in the middle of all the stuff a pee break.
Yeah.
And then just come back all right, we're back.
Quiet on set. Can we please have quiet on set?
Pretty much.
Oh, you want to talk about The Miz?
All right, so we got to The Miz. He's on Dancing with the Stars.
He's doing great on Dancing with the Stars, even though I have not watched the last week yet.
I've literally only cared about Dancing with the Stars because I follow JoJo Siwa, yeah, on Instagram, and I was devastated to hear that she and her girlfriend broke up.
Then you didn't watch when Helio was on there?
What?
You didn't watch Dance with the Stars when Helio was on there?
No.
Yeah.
I knew he was on there. I just
He won.
didn't care.
In his
Yeah.
I know.
in his trophy room, he has his Dancing with the Stars trophy in between all of his Indy 500 trophies.
Yeah, like I
With
said,
all that
I
work, I
know.
would put it
I
there
know
too.
about his Dancing with the Stars stuff. It was like it's entertaining. I just I don't
Yeah, I don't.
watch that show.
You got to go
because
back and watch the whole season.
I don't care about dancing shows. Really. No, I'd rather see a show that says we know you can't dance. Just have like the worst dancers out there. You know, kind of like Gong Show in a way.
Yeah.
But,
All right.
No, I'd rather see a dancing show where it's just like people just can't dance for shit.
Sometimes that's what
And
Dancing with the
we
Stars
will,
is.
That
We'll
is
eliminate
true.
you, and we'll eliminate you Squid Game style.
Well, we want to thank you all for joining
I
us here
feel like North
tonight.
Korea does a show like that.
We're never gonna stop, folks. We're just gonna go over like about 12 more tangents.
Yeah.
It'll be
We have 30 seasons of Dancing with the Stars we could talk about.
yeah.
Absolutely fucking not.
So let's end the
No.
episode.
I
Because we might get
I'd rather
ended
be-
shortly because of the storm coming in. We want to thank you all for joining us. If you enjoyed, please give a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of pro wrestling, but from the world of gaming, anime, comic books, all things geek culture. Check out some of my other videos. Check out the collection comic of the week that just went up today, featuring Spectacular Spider-Man number 161. Check out this past weekend's Geeking Out podcast with the husband of Dexter Roswell, Logan, and our Spouses in Squared Circle series. Follow me on social media, facebook.com/athleticgeek89, Twitter athletic_geek89, Instagram athleticgeek89. If you'd like to help this channel out financially, I am on Patreon, patreon.com/athleticgeek89. CJ, do you have social media?
I do. I got a Twitter. If you're hunkered down in Southern Illinois right now, you can tweet at how mad you are at me at CJ Timo0.
NEZ, I know you got social media.
Yes, follow me at Eric Zarens. Always love being here on the show. Shout out to the podcast Wrestling Federation for just being so damn awesome. And just under my obligation, if you really want to help the YouTube channel reach 200 subscribers, do that. And in return, I get punished for drinking some bubbly.
Peer pressure.
Yeah.
Peer pressure.
Just like Ollie Davis. Oh, if you haven't seen this, Ollie Davis on Wrestle Talk saying Judas, and it is so hilariously bad.
Yeah.
Actually, screw it. Screw Dancing with the Stars. We can do So You Think You Can Sing, but really, they just all suck at singing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, they already have a show called that. It's American Idol.
Well, there's America's Got Talent, too.
Heyo.
And so we're not even gonna make you fully drink it. We're just gonna like spray it on you like you won the Indy 500. But yes, for CJ and EZ, I am the Athletic Geek. We are just marks and we're out. And hopefully, with the way this storm cloud looks in the area, we're not out for good. We'll see you next
Oh,
time.
We're not going to have
It's already,
cows.
it's been stormy in my area for like hours. So
Have a
I
good
think
one.
okay.
Be safe.
Good night.
All right. Yeah.